Welcome to the talk of Monorepos. I hope you are interested to learn about them. And if you know stuff about them already, good for you. Here's more information. But, God damn it, that's not working. There we go. I am Mikael. I am a consultant at Netlight. You're the audience, and we're here to talk about Monorepos. Yes. So I'm working at a team as a front-end developer. I am working at a client here in Stockholm, and we do front-end apps for profiles. So we do the login, we do the actual profile page, we do like registration flow, we sell a bunch of secret stuff. That's not a crime either. That's our stuff, what we do. But before I get into the talk about Monorepos, we shall pack our bags and travel back in time to the year of 2018. Whoa, October to be specific. And I would like to call this time the time before the Monorepo. It's a sad time. It was a time, nevertheless. During this time, our setup was to have different applications in different repositories. Pretty conventional, right? So we had front-end apps such as our login, our profile, etc. in different repositories, all doing their own stuff. All good. We had our backend code that we didn't touch that much in its own repository. We had custom CSS theme in its own repository. We had some helper libraries in custom repositories. You get the drill. Then we had the grand consumer of it all in its own repositories. And this was all fine and nice. We handled dependencies with npm, and we got some clear benefits of this, such as like specific responsibilities of features. So we know that if we want to touch the login application, we go to the login applications repository. Very nice. We got pretty small repo sizes, which is good. So you can just clone a repo in no time and install it, and you're good to go. We had pretty minimal and logical deploy pipelines, and we could also have very specific conventions for linting and TS configs and such. But also, it gave us some pains in the butt to have this config. Yes, to say the least. This is a butt symbol for you. Yes. And some of those issues were enforcing linting and prettifying rules. So say that we wanted to change a rule from using single quotes to double quotes or something in an application. And we could do it in one repository. Then we had to go into every other repository and also do this rule for all repositories. And it was usual that we forgot one repository, and then we had a big hassle to find that repository and change that rule in that also. We had pretty bad time maintaining dependencies of external packages. So even though we use tildes and these, what are they called? A cheat note here. Carrots, these guys, roofs, to automatically update to the latest patch or minor update of a package, we still found us in situations there where we had mismatches of versions of packages, which was not very good. We had onboarding of new teammates, a bit of a struggle, because in this case you would tell your new teammate, Maxim the latest, hello Maxim, would you like to run our application? Here you go, here's 5 repos for you. You have to download them and install them and build them in the right order. Then you have the development pipeline up and running. Good for you. Now you can start the code. Dramatic pause. Yes, and then we had the biggest pain in the peach, which was making cross-repo changes. Because making cross-repo changes with several different repositories on the same project meant that we first had to actually locate the library or package they want to change on the disk. We would have to actually make the change, pretty obvious. We would then have to actually verify that it worked in all the consumers, which means that we have to locate all consumers and open up a new VS Code and npm link the other package into those guys. And if you use the npm link, it's witchcraft and it's not very usable, in my opinion. Then we see that, oh, it works, super nice. So we release a new version to npm. Awesome. So now we install that new version on all consumers. And then we try out all the consumers in our staging environment. Nice. And now we release a new version of all consumers. Nice. It was easy enough. Good. No, it wasn't. It was frustrating. Yes. But in comes Anna. And if you know Anna, you know her face. If you don't know Anna, this is her face. She said, hello. She says, back to you. And she asked you, why don't you use a Monorepo? Yeah, why don't we use a Monorepo? That's a good question. So what even was a Monorepo? We didn't know by the time. Well, mono means monolithic, and repo just means repo in this case. So it's essentially one place for all your code. It's one single repository for the whole project. Pretty neat, and you can approach this in several different ways. You can have these Colossal monorepos, which some of you might have heard of, which is used by companies such as Facebook, Google, and Twitter. And it's where you have like a company-wide code base. So I think for the Googlers, they have like, and if you work at Google, please correct me if I'm wrong, but they have a code base in one repository which like 95% of all the front end or all the devs use. So let's say you're working in team X and you want to use a feature of team Y, then you can just like use the same repository. You don't have to like ask for permissions and get the permissions and then you clone the repository and search through that. You just have everything going in your repository. Super nice. But that also means that it's humongous. So according to safe sources, Google has like 2 billion lines of code in their repository. It's kind of huge, and it's supposedly 86 terabytes in size. So imagine just cloning that to your machine. Must be fun. I don't know if they do it, but they probably have a team to fix those stuff. And here's a link if you want to read up more about it, and if you don't take my word for that stuff. Questions at the end? At the end?
Okay, well I can wait.
Thank you. It's huge. Then you have other kinds of monorepositories, which are called code-based repositories. And this is what like Babel and React and Jest uses. It's when you have like this like focused project which has like several different modules. There you go. And they are versioned centrally, meaning that if I do a change in one module in my project, I update the package version of the whole shebang. So each of these modules are released to npm separately and independently, but they are using kind of the same version number. So of course, if I do a change in one of the packages, it will update the version of the whole shebang, and then it will ask me, oh, which sub repositories did you change? And it will apply that version number onto those changed packages. So it works kind of smoothly by that. And they also managed shared dependency on the root level. So if you have like a bunch of shared dependencies, you don't have to npm install everything in every package. You just do it at one place, one time, and you're good to go. Which means that it's like easy to not have mismatches in versions also of dependencies. And of course, this means that you have like one place to report an issue. So for the Babel example, if you want to report an issue to Babel, you just go to Babel's repo on GitHub and report an issue there. You don't have to like track down every damn little sub package and commit like a issue on that touching like feature. Cool. And it also, here's an example for you. There you go. Here's Jest. So this is like a typical project-based Monorepo structure. So on top you have a package JSON, which, as I mentioned, have the top-level version in it. You have a bunch of packages in here, and they also have their own package JSON. But the difference here is that if this guy and that guy, they share a bunch of dev dependencies, they will be placed in the top rather than in each and every package. Very nice. And then you have some shared config stuff, which we will look into later. And notice that we have a yarn log file on the top here. We don't have a yarn log file in each and every package here, so it's pretty sweet. And Jest has about like 40 modules, I think, that is used in this manner. Yes, and then you have the micro platforms, which is another type of Monorepo. So this is where you have like the whole application stack inside a repository. This is kind of something that we use. In my team, we use a shared repository for like having or login our profile application and some helper libraries as well. Meaning that you have, like, as I said, you have front-end code, you can have like the back-end code, the utils, you have the APIs all in the same repository, which means that you test, deploy, build everything together as one go. And it usually means that you have like one version number for the whole shebang as well, but you can of course version it locally in each and every sub-package also. We'll get into that later. It also means that if you have like one full stack feature, you have one PR. So if I want to create a feature that touches the backend and some part of the front end and maybe the documentation, I do it in one go, submit one PR, you have one reviewer to review it, it's good to go. So instead of like having 5 PRs on 5 different repositories touching the same feature, I just have one now. And this is an example of that. It's pretty similar to what Jest uses, except that now we don't have the packages folder here. Now we have the front-end folder, we have the back-end folder, we have the utils folder, and the docs folder. And we essentially just specify in this learn.json file where our packages reside. So in this file, I have said that, okay, I will have my packages in these folders. You're good to go. I will have the same structure as the Jest example. Lovely, but why would you use it? But why? Well, according to Babel, juggling a multi-module project over multiple repos is like trying to teach a newborn baby how to ride a bike. Yes, and that seems pretty hard. But to get into some concrete benefits, which my team has gotten out of creating a Monorepo and merging our different projects into that, is obviously that you have all the good stuff in one and the same place. And it's up to you as a developer to decide what the good stuff is. If you don't see that it should reside in that repo, don't have it in that repo, I suppose. This means also that you have easier onboarding. So now, Maxim, if he would come in today, he wouldn't have to clone those 5 repositories. We just clone one repo.
That's nice.
Thank you. Don't take my word for it. Here's Maxim. No. And he like fires up one instance of VS Code, and he starts a build script that we've made that like fixes everything in the right order for you, and he's up and going. Lovely. And also, this has the very sweet feature of like doing a global search. So instead of like me having to open up like 5 instances of VS Code and like global searching in 5 of those to find a usage of some package, you do it in the one and same VS Code. So it's super nice. We also have now a single config for linting and prettifying, which is pretty nice. So if I want to change that rule now of using double quotes instead of single quotes, I do it at one place and it affects all our applications like magic. We also have a single test and release process for everything. So now I don't have to wait for like 5 builds and start 5 builds in Jenkins for like 5 different repositories. I do it one time and Jenkins take care of the rest for us. It's super nice. We also have our dependencies managed, which means that if I want to depend on React and I do it in like a number of repos, I do a global yarn install, and yarn for you who uses npm is like npm but faster. Use it. So you don't have to like go into every package and install dependencies. You do it on top level, and you get all the shebangs inside your submodules, which is super nice. And also the dev dependencies are shared in the top level, so you don't have to specify like, oh, this package uses this dev dependency, and this package uses the same, and this the same. Just put it on top. It will install it globally. Super nice. Then you have the cross-module changes, which is now super duper easy. No more npm link witchcraft. Nice. Just do it in one place, and it's good to go. So you do your feature, you test it out in its consumers locally, then you see it works in its consumers. You probably like add the dependency of that new updated package into your consumers directly. You push it as one PR, and you're good. Awesome. But also, when you're selling your soul to the Monorepo devil, there is the cost. There's a cost to this. So we got some challenges out of this, and this is it's a mountain. I think climbing mountains is challenging. And one obvious thing is the larger repo size. So for us, it's not a very big issue. We don't have that big of a application stack. But if you are using if you have like 100 of packages, it probably is a big issue for you. I don't know. Depends on your team, probably. But yeah, we use workspaces in VS Code to manage this. It's working fine. Then of course, continuous integration has been a bit of a challenge for us. So it took some time for us to figure out how to do that, and we're still fighting with Jenkins a bit. And damn, Jenkins fights back. Yes, let's say that. This guy knows, and this girl as well. They do. So yeah, but I was gonna say something more about this. Oh, never mind. Never mind. There is tools to fix this. Like I think Sales CI is one of them, but it costs money, so we don't use it. There you go. Oh shit. There you go. We have a shared Git history now, which is not very nice, so it's a bit bloated. So before we knew that all commits inside the login application touch the login. Makes sense. Now when we have a commit, we don't know whatever touches if we're not very verbose about it. But we are trying to use tools such as Commitisen to fix this, to be very verbose and specific about what feature touches which repository. But yeah, it's a fact that it's bloated and it's harder to read than it was before. And of course, online documentation is not very good, and it comes back to the CI part. So trying to figure out how to tackle a TypeScript monorepository in Jenkins is not very fun if you use the internet. You don't have much there for you. Yeah, and here's a smiley for you. It's confused, and it asks you, how would you create a monorepo then? There you go. How to monorepo? Well, we use something called Yarn Workspaces and Lerna for this. So Yarn is, as I mentioned, a alternative to npm, but it's more suitable for monorepos than npm is. So what it does is that it allows us to link together shared dependencies in our monorepo in a very nice way. So we can just do a install and a build on the top level, on the root level of our monorepo, and it will go and install everything we need in the right order and build everything in the right order as well. For us, it will trickle down into each repository and do that. Super sweet. And then we have Lerna, which handles building, releasing, deploying for us, versioning as well. We'll look into that in some time. Here's a role for you. And it's my cue to live code. Yay, live coding. Not scary at all. That's how it works. There we go. Here is my screen. No, god damn it. Oh, recording stopped. Thank you for notifying. Here we are. Start again. Please. Screen recording. There we go. Thank you. I will clap again now. But not for you, for this. Can you see something? Something, but can you see well? Is it large enough for you? Suppose it is. Stop laughing. So here's a Monorepo. It's a larger Monorepo. It's the same Monorepo. It's larger now. VS Code. Why is the terminal not? Okay, you can't see the terminal for some reason. There you go. No. And we have an apps folder. We have a module folder. We have git ignore that. Just like it. We have a Lerna JSON. This is interesting. So what's in the Lerna JSON? It's a config file for Lerna. No doubt. It specifies what version of Lerna we're using. It specifies that we're using workspaces, Yarn workspaces, yes. It specifies what in what directories I am having my packages. I have them in apps, I have them in modules, lovely. I am telling Lerna to version everything centrally here. You can write independent here, independent, if you want to, and that will tell Lerna that you will version all your beautiful packages independently of each other. So if I do a release of package A, package B won't be updated, but that also means that you can have like a package which is at version 2.0.3 while you have another package which is on version 1.1.2. No worries, but I want to use a centrally versioned Monorepo here. And what it does is that if I update like a package here, it will ask me if I want to update all the packages. No, it will ask me if I want to update the changed packages. You will see that. Never mind. We're using Yarn. Lovely. We have a package JSON here in which we also say where we're using workspaces. Again, duplication is nice. But this is for Yarn to know where it's going to look for dependencies and where it's going to install stuff. We're using private here since we don't want to release this monstrosity to the world. We want to release each packages on its own. We have some shared dev dependencies here. So you will notice that I have no dev dependencies in each of the submodules package JSON. But I do have dependencies because those are going to be bundled with the npm package when we release it, but not the dev dependencies. No. And then we have some scripts here. These are lovely scripts. So my linting script runs Lerna, and what Lerna does is that it's going to go into each and every of my sub packages. It's gonna run the lint script in those in parallel, I think. No, not in parallel, in sequence. Same for build and release. Lovely. So in apps here, I have an app called Ryan Reynolds for reasons. And then in modules, I have Ryan and I have Reynolds in that order. There you go, alphabetically. And you could probably guess that they combine into Ryan Reynolds. Awesome. So if we look at Ryan here, no, let's look at Ryan Reynolds as a whole. Are you laughing? Here we have his package JSON. Ryan's, no, he's not package. We have the name of him, Ryan Reynolds, and we have the version, and we have a bunch of other stuff. We don't have no dev dependencies because those are at the top. We do have dependencies on Ryan and on Reynolds. Lovely. And we have a dependency on React. Lovely. So if I would go into Ryan Reynolds source and I would change something here, I would say, oh, I haven't built this. We should show you how to build this first. I'm at the top level here. I run yarn. There you go. Yarn install. It will go down into each of my packages and it will install the dependencies in those. There we go. It's done in 8 seconds. Much faster than npm. No. Awesome sauce. So if we go into Ryan Reynolds here, it doesn't have a node modules, which is expected because we want it on the top level. There we go. So now we have a node modules on top level instead of a node modules on in every single package here. Cool. And if I build this, yarn build, it will figure out in what order to build stuff. So it won't build Ryan Reynolds before it builds Ryan, because if you build Ryan Reynolds before Ryan, there won't be anything to find. He will like complain, like I can't find this, I will stop now. But yarn is intelligent, so it will figure out in what order to do stuff. Yarn build, let's go. Super fast. It's building. Slowly, but surely. There you go. So it runs the Lerna build script, which goes down in each and every package and runs its, or yeah, where do you have it? Build. There you go. Builds with TypeScript. Awesome. Let's reload this. There we go. No, you don't. You can't find this. You know you find this. Probably reload. Reload the window. There we go. Works every time. That's how you do it. Magic. Live coding. Now it's even unnecessary to have that. Never mind. Oh, it's not grouped alphabetically. Very nice. Let's do that. Smack. And I've made a change to this package now. On the fly. Live in front of the audience. So let's add that. So adding those changes. Changed stuff. Because we're specific here. There we go. Cool. So now I've changed Ryan Reynolds. So I will do a Lerna version. And it will ask me, hello, please. OK, hello. You have changed your beautiful Monorepo in some way. What have you done? Well, I just did a patch here. So I will select patch. And it will ask me, oh, I see that you did the patch in Ryan Reynolds, so I will update Ryan Reynolds to the number which you selected of the Monorepo, which is 1.0.2. Is this good for you? It's super good. Thank you. No, it's not good. It's so good. Yes, it's good. So it will actually not update the version of Ryan or Reynolds, but it will update Ryan Reynolds because I changed stuff in Ryan Reynolds. Super nice. But if I would have changed something in Ryan, it would ask me, do you want to update Ryan and Ryan Reynolds? Because Ryan Reynolds is dependent on Ryan, right? So it will figure out like, oh, you want to bump this version of Ryan inside your package.json on Ryan Reynolds, so I will do it for you. Beautiful, beautiful. So that's the live coding, I think. That's like the foundation of the Monorepo here. Awesome. Let's go back to the slides. No mirror. There you go. We'll do a pull request. Oh, poor astronauts. Oh, dead astronauts. Yeah, they're poor them. Poor me. I can't find my slides now. Have they taken it? What? Oh shit! It's here. There you go. That's the role. And the role is never mind. Role. So if you want to migrate to a Monorepo, it's pretty straightforward. You would probably use Lerna and Yarn Workspace for this. So these commands will actually do it for you. You will have to create a folder on your own. Probably figure out how to do that. Then you do npx lerna init, and you instantiate a Lerna folder in that. So it will actually like create that package directory for you. It will create the Lerna JSON for you. It will create a package JSON for you pointing towards that package folder. You can change that later if you want to. And if you would add a -- independent, it will tell Lerna that you want to version everything independent of each other. Then you just add that and you do a commit because you need a commit history here, git history, and then you can use Lerna import, and that would just import any package which you have selected on your local machine and import it with its whole git history into, it will have to be a git repository as well, into the Monorepo, into the said packages folder, and you're good to go. So to wrap up this, what is a Monorepo? Well, it's one repository with multiple modules or packages in it, if you will. So why should you do this? I can say that you should do this because of simple tooling and organization of code. And you also have this easy cross-package change, which is nice. How would you do it? I just showed you that. Don't you remember? Thank you. Here's some links. You may ask your question now. Was it you? Or you?
It was me who raised my hand earlier. Yeah, I think it's more of a comment question. I don't think Google uses Git for their giant.
They don't. What do they use?
Maybe Subversion something custom.
All right. Probably have to do that.
Google uses Perforce.
All right.
Facebook uses Mercurial.
All right.
Then you can just check out like parts of the Monorepo.
That's nice. Very nice. Cool. Yeah?
I don't use VS Code, but you mentioned you use some VS Code workspace or something like that. What is that? And,
Indeed we do, sir. Well, it's essentially like structures everything into beautiful like workspace like folders. Have you used workspaces in any other ID?
Just use Vim.
Oh, okay. Well, it just structured them in a pretty nice and readable way, and you also have easier like testing configs as well using it. What else recently we use it? Mostly those two.
Editor settings?
What?
Editor settings?
Yeah, editor settings, like shared editor settings.
Is that something you can define in sort of a shared?
Yeah, I mean you can define it on the root level, and tell like VS Code like, oh, these are the folders which I have in my workspace.
I think it's called .editor config or something.
.vs config. Yeah.
The name Monorepo, I feel like there should be a better one when it includes multiple like modules that are independent. I don't like the name.
You don't? Oh, it's not. I didn't make it up. So
Let's rename it.
Let's do it.
Sounds like, you know, this gigantic code base.
yeah, I mean it sounds like
very old and like that you have to fight with.
yeah.
So I mean, it feels like there should be like a name. There should be something in the name that indicates that this is not that old dinosaur.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree with you. It would be nicer. But
Some use Unirepo, but I don't think it has caught on
oh,
as much as Monorepo.
Unirepo. Oh, could be nice. Yes.
We can use Lerna just with the JavaScript projects, right? So if I
I
have to
think so, yeah. Or do you,
with C# or something, I can't use Lerna.
I think Lerna is
Is
based on Yarn, right? I think it's based on Yarn, isn't it?
on npm internally.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So yes, it's JavaScript specific
Yeah.
thing. Yes.
Yes, Maxim.
Is it a hassle to solve Git conflicts when you work in Monorepo with different teams?
We are just one team that works with our Monorepo
You're
just
like,
now. But
6 teams working
oh,
in
shit.
Monorepo and merging everyday conflicts.
well, do you work on each other's code bases?
Yes, because we share components.
Yeah. I mean, you would have to like know your way around the other one's code, I suppose.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a hassle to solve merge conflicts, of course.
that's the way Monorepo is.
Right. We don't really have a silver bullet for solving those things. We usually have like merge conflicts in our Yarn log files, which is a hassle, and like versioning stuff is merge conflicts for us. But yeah, I don't know. If you have a like good solution you want to talk about later, we can totally talk about it.
Okay, we just spent extra time during the night.
Oh, it's a solution.
Yeah, it works perfect.
Very nice. Thank you. Yes.
You touched on building briefly. I wonder if you have some kind of containerization, and if when you deploy stuff, whether the tools are intelligent enough to pick just the portions of the shared dependencies that are required for that specific service.
Yeah, right now we are actually like building everything every time. So we're using Docker and Jenkins, but if we push it up something new and have to build it, we have to build like every package and test it every time. So unfortunately we don't have an intelligent way to just figure out what we need to build right now.
All right. Thanks.
We're good. Oh, more questions.
Yeah. Do you include the backend stack as well in the Monorepo, or is just like the whole front end?
In my team we don't.
It's only front end. Really.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Regarding the what to build comment, what I did in one Monorepo was to use, I forgot what the git command is, but there is a git command to see if there are changes in a certain subfolder. So you can use that in your Jenkins pipeline, and that way only trigger rebuilding an image for the submodule.
Just the change one. I was testing this today.
Nice.
Mm.
You have to show me.
Yeah, but that is
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, we do that as well, like building each package in Monorepo independently. I haven't used this workspace thing, and you mentioned only have one block file, right, in the root. So I think if I would refactor to using workspaces, it probably won't work the same way, right? Because the log files are not per.
No, it's like exactly, it's one and the same.
And also can with the dev dependencies with work. I see.
So it seems like we started to have discussions instead of question and answers. And this is super good. First of all, thank you, Mikael,
Thank you.
for this amazing talk.
Thank you.